California homeowners are facing a growing insurance crisis. Even before these latest fires, several of the state's largest insurers either stopped or limited new policies, leaving many struggling to find coverage. Now, since 2015, California has seen 15 of its most destructive blazes in history, forcing insurance companies to pay out large claims. With many insurers pulling out, the state government has started its own insurance program known as the FAIR, F-A-I-R plan. Nearly 500,000 homes are participating, but the plan only offers basic coverage up to $3 million, often not enough to rebuild a house in an area with sky-high property values. State officials are trying to fix this by letting insurers factor climate change into their rates. They're hoping that's going to convince companies to return to the market, but premiums may be much higher. Well, David Flandreau is the head of industry analysis and strategic advisory at Howden Ray. It's a global reinsurance broker. He's joining us now from London. Sir, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Are we facing a situation, do you think, that insurance companies are going to be less than willing to pay out under these circumstances?
Well, I think that if there is coverage in place, the insurance companies will pay out. That's what we're here for. And that's that's a big part of what drives us here in Howden Re. We're a reinsurance broker, but Howden Group is an insurer. And so we seek to get coverage into the market for people when they most need it. The problem is, though, lack of coverage prior to this event. And it is really, as you say, pursuant to a number of different things, probably really getting going in earnest after the Camp Fire in California in 2018. Up until this wildfire, there had been around 20 billion of insured wildfire losses in California. This wildfire looks to be the biggest in state history. So it simply may be that there isn't the coverage in place to cover everyone, unfortunately, at this moment. But there are a lot of reasons and drivers behind that we can talk about.
I want to ask you about that. What are those drivers? What are the conditions that the insurers would now have to take into consideration if they were to consider somebody willing to pay premiums for this?
Well, yeah, so, insurers have been in California for a very long time. It's one of the oldest modern insurance markets in the world, going all the way back to the San Francisco earthquake. But in recent years, wildfire frequency and severity certainly has increased, certainly in California and certainly in the Los Angeles County area. And there are a number of different reasons for that. One of them is, as you say, there are state regulatory caps on how much insurers can raise rates in the admitted market. Previously, they weren't able to take things like climate change and the cost of reinsurance and other factors into account. But it's also things like, creating sufficient fire breaks, sufficient sweeping of the forest floors, culling of forests, legislation around community support for wildfires, fuel management. All this, I hope this is a wake-up call really for the state to implement all of those things in earnest. There are other states like Oregon, Washington, California, Colorado, Utah, where admittedly, there's less exposure because they just don't have the same population density as California, but they have actually undertaken more of those measures. I know how difficult California is, just given its size, but the hope is that those actions, combined with state legislation around how insurance is priced, will bring coverage back into the state. In the meantime, there have been a lot of alternative methods explored to get coverage into California, including in what's called the excess and surplus market, which generally insures higher net worth individuals and corporations, but also in the admitted market. And I'm sitting here in London, which is the world's biggest specialty market. And here we've done everything we can to get insurance capacity into California via alternative routes, like through managing general agencies and creative ways using technology better to price and offer coverage. But we need to accelerate all of this, both on the public side and on the private side, to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
It's really good to get your expertise in this. David Flandreau, we appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
My pleasure, and I hope everyone in harm's way will stay safe.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.